What up, y'all? It's Try. Just got home not too long ago from finishing up EDC sunrise set. I should have did above and beyond sunrise set too. You may see me wearing some cool stuff. I got what they call candy. I guess you exchange gifts called candy. Some girl put this on my head. I didn't know it was pink. Some girl put this on my neck. I didn't know it looked like that. It was on her head as like a princess thing, and we did the whole peace, love, unity thing and traded stuff. I got this. I got a couple candy bracelets that I can share later, and then I'm so glad I brought candy so that I had something to give back. But I had such a great time, and I appreciate all the friends who met up with me and made my first EDC a blast. Oh yeah, I got this. I got these two candies. They call them candies. Oh, and I got a hot sticker. I got another sticker on my backpack, and I got some other things as well. But I mean, these are just shows how friendly people are at EDC. And Armin van Buuren closed out EDC, and he was really good. So I'm trying to find my other candy. I think it's these two and one other one. It was very cold on the last day of EDC, very windy. I had to wear my pashmina like a robe, over me. And so that was the only way for me to stay warm. So I don't know what other people did, but it was, for me, hella cold. I mean, I'm dressed in this EDC jersey here. So yeah, I met up with different people every day. So that was fun. I got this one too. Thing for my hand previous night. And so it was cool. So my EDC was a mix of like solo raving, because I went out here by myself from Sacramento, got the shuttle, got the hotel, and I met up with friends along the way. And it was perfect because I got the most candy when I was by myself. And if people were available to meet and we met, we'd hang. I'm gonna take this out of my hair now, but when people were available to meet, we met and obviously had a good time. I'm here at MGM Grand, by the way. It's about 20 minute walk from the shuttle, and it was a great hotel. They upgraded me for free because the toilet in the studio wasn't working, so I got a full ass bedroom here. It's a little messy, so I don't want to show you it, but I have another video with it in it. But this is what the city view looks like of Vegas. Hello, get my big head out the way. But yeah, I really liked Armin's set, his sunrise set. I took his master class in producing and DJing, and I learned so much from him. So it was very emotional for me to see Armin, of all people, close out. I feel like I spent hours and hours upon hours learning from him, and so yeah, it was really emotional. And gosh, he is a different character. He's like from his teacher role to like a DJ and pumping up the crowd and getting everybody excited. I was listening. I was like, is that his voice? He sounds so, different. He's like hyping up the crowd. His voice sounds completely different. But it was just a perfect sunrise set and a great way to close out EDC. It was also emotional for me because, like I said, I've learned he puts so much thought and effort into his classes. You should check them out when you get a chance if you're interested in DJing or something like that. But he puts a lot of thought into it, and to see someone I look up to close out EDC was perfect. I couldn't think of a better way to close out EDC, but thank you to friends. I got to check out the VIP lounge. My friend was able to introduce me to that. They got their own lockers, all this cool stuff. You go in there. It's in downtown EDC, which is basically this whole other city within EDC. But there's an actual VIP passport lounge that you can go in and have a whole different view of Kinetic and all this. It's even separate from the VIP bracelet. So I'm about to catch some Z's, but I surprisingly have a lot of energy still. Thankful for all the advice I received in terms of eating and making sure I ate good meals and stuff like that, and got sleep and things of that nature. So appreciative of the great advice, and like I said, the people who were able to meet up, hang out. But like I said, I got a good mixture in as well. I enjoyed my time because I had all my set lists planned out It was a pretty packed set list, and so I spent a lot of time picking through every artist to figure out which ones I wanted to watch. Every single one. I looked at their Spotify. I looked at and if I sound low energy right now, I kind of am, but I wanted to do this debrief as soon as it happened or after it happened. I checked out their Spotify, checked out their SoundCloud, and I kind of lost my voice too. And not only just saw how much followers they had, I also read their biographies, stuff like that. I mean, quick reads. They're all brief biographies anyway, so. And I had it all planned out in terms of who I wanted to see. There were a lot of set conflicts, but I highly recommend breaking sets. Like, if you have time, it does take you 15 minutes sometimes to get in and out of a set, but it's sometimes worth it. You know, especially if you've seen the artist before and you want to see a new one you haven't seen. Like, for example, I left Zed's set to go see a set at Bass Pod by Peekaboo, which I'm glad I did because I've seen Zed before. I'll probably see him again pretty soon, potentially. And the same thing with Subtronics. I didn't see him on the big stage. I have some regrets about that, but I would see Peggy Guo and a legend in Kiki in the dance community. So I'm no expert on EDM, by the way, but I did study up on this year's set list and artist lineup because I was convinced that there was some hidden gems that's not being talked about on social media. So, and I was right. You know, there was a lot of, like Kiki, for example. No, most people don't know her. Darude, I didn't get a chance to watch, but he does still tour. I saw Laid Back Luke. I saw a Prodigy, at least at the beginning of it. I mean, I saw John Summit for the first time. I saw Fisher for the first time. And all this packed into one EDC. It was an amazing experience, and a lot of friends helped. A lot of friends helped give me advice. A lot of, you know, some of my own family gave me some advice and pointers on how to make it the best EDC I could possibly make it. And so it's something that I've been wanting to do. I've been streaming it for a long time, but to see it live now was, as one of my friends said, a magical experience. You know, I believe that. It was physically demanding. My lower back, I'm not going to lie, is hurting. I found myself sitting down on the concrete so many times. I didn't even care. After a certain point in time, I really didn't care. I just I got to sit down. You know, I'm here for one more night. I got to get my sleep in, and I didn't want to, you know, get kicked out. Might be going to DJ Snake tonight. It's a sort of a ramp off, you know, from these all night, staying up all night, essentially, is what EDC is, by the way. Which for some reason, it didn't register to me that people were doing that when I was live streaming. I was like, people actually stay up the whole freaking night to watch these artists. And, you know, you got to get your money's worth, you know? So that was what my thought process was. And I'll tell you what, I grinded it out just like I did Japan. If you see what I did in Japan, I did a bunch of stuff. So I'll have some videos and stuff I'll put together, hopefully just recapping everything. But obviously I didn't post too much because I really wanted to live in the moment type thing, which, by the way, I think it's all, you know, I have a lot of thoughts on taking video and then trying to enjoy the event at the same time, but I don't think they're mutually exclusive. You can absolutely do both. I've heard people say that, and I believe in that. And it's funny, at the White House correspondent dinner, when there was that shooting, journalists put up their cameras and nobody gave them shit for it. And the journalists were like, no, we're doing it for you, you know, and nobody second guessed it. But, you know, a regular civilian does it. Sometimes it's that in bad taste. Like there was, you know, sometimes it is in bad taste. People post things for content and clicks and maybe not the appropriate timing or anything or something like that. But, you know, sometimes at least when I'm taking video, I do have the end user in mind, whoever it is, some of my followers or something like that. I think it might be interesting. A lot of times it's interesting to me, you know, because I DJ and I'm trying to produce. I like, obviously, taping transitions and how clean they are and how they think about even the notes. I want to go back and listen to the notes and see if it harmonizes and it made sense. Because Armin, and I'm so glad I got to see his set, but he literally plans out his sets and all the notes as well have to complement as well. So he's very much a musician in and of himself. So, but yeah, I met so many people, experienced so many things, and like I said, more to come on that. But I did want to do a brief debrief right after it happened because I think it is important to capture sort of the moment, so to speak, and which I still got to do with my Vietnam trip. And I did have some thoughts I put down right away on paper with Vietnam. So yeah, it was a magical experience. It was really, and it was on the 30th year. It was all this special stuff about it. There was that parade. There were so many cool things that happened, and it just so happened that it was the year that I went. So really glad I got to experience this. It is not the cheapest trip, so, you know, at least for me, I have to plan for these type of things and obviously budget wisely and things like that. But at least in my experience, vacations are necessary. You got to take a vacation, you come back renewed, energized, no matter how much you love your work. You know, I think it is good to relax too. So, you know I learned a lot, had a lot of new perspectives, met a lot of great people, and hung out with friends as well. I did all this, so had the opportunity to do all this, and so it was different. So I had a solo raver experience as well as hanging out with friends experience, mostly hanging out with friends, but like today I wasn't able to meet up with my friends until the last set. So everything I did before that, I went by myself. And that's where I got all this candy, and oh my gosh, Grizz back-to-back Wooly. I knew it was going to be crazy, and I'm going to recap this right now because I knew it was going to be crazy. So what I did was I had all these artists, including Scream, for the culture, right? I wanted to watch Scream, and I watched Shipwreck. I shouldn't have watched Shipwreck in place of, I think his name is Frankie Bones. He made up Plur. He made up the whole term, and I wanted to watch for the culture. I wanted to do a lot of stuff for the culture, and that was one of the few that I missed, aside from like Darude. But Darude still tours, so I'm like, I could probably still, it's still rare to catch him, but I still think I can. But then Peekaboo I've never watched before, but like I'm really glad I got to watch. I was saying so much happened. Grizz back-to-back Wooly. So the set before, I didn't know who the guy was, but I just stood there waiting the whole set out, and I didn't care who I missed, including Scream. I wanted to watch Scream for the culture, but I was like, Grizz back-to-back Wooly, I already know is going to be crazy. So I need to line up the set before in order to be in a good position to listen to the set, see the DJs, things like that. So I don't even know who the DJ was before him on Kinetic Field, but I sat through it patiently because I didn't like his music that much. I still thought it was cool. I knew what I was missing to stay there to set up for a Grizz Wooly. And I did this for no other artists, by the way. I didn't sit there setting up like I did for Grizz Wooly, but set up for Grizz Wooly, and that set was ridiculous. That's where I got this, by the way. This was a crown on someone's head as a princess. She put it on my neck. How nice of her. But I met so many cool people. I mean, when you're working through the crowd, especially as a solo raver, and I don't know how it works for other people, but you're always in somebody else's group, whether you like it or not. I mean, people roll deep, in terms of have a lot of friends that go with them. So when you're solo raving, you don't know what group you're in, but it doesn't matter because it's like a whole mosh pit anyway. But I was in this massive group. Well, no, I kept going from group to group, really, So people were very nice. There was this tall guy in front of me, and they asked him to kind of move so that I can get a better view. So nice of them. And I really enjoyed it, and so I got a cool view. So thank you for the people who let me ahead. I really appreciate it. And basically, as people moved out, I kept getting closer and closer, and man, I do like dubstep. It's a cool sound, and so it's cool how they compose it. But Grizz Wooly was so sick. I mean, I recognize some of the songs I didn't. I don't know their music all that well, but I do know some of it. So I didn't know when people were doing a back-to-back or not. And I'm talking quietly because the other thing is people might be sleeping from EDC. So I didn't know where the back-to-backs were, but just his music was crazy. The laser show was crazy. It was packed. I feel like that was one of the anchor shows for the whole festival. So it was getting so much buzz, and I'm glad I lined up for that. But that was sick. I really enjoyed it, and I talked to someone on the bus who really enjoyed it as well, my shuttle back. So anyway, I'm gonna end it there. It's been 19 minutes. I'm holding this phone, and my back is strained a little bit because I'm an old man, and I gotta rest up. But yeah, physically I was prepared for everything, but the camelback I wasn't physically prepared for, like carrying around a hydration pack. That was a little bit more effort than I thought it might be, but I made it. My first EDC. I said my last, but that's not necessarily true. A lot of people just buy 1 or 2 days and they sell the rest, or they buy 1 or 2 days from somebody else. So that may always be in the cards in the future, but probably not a whole last weekend and 3 days of EDC. I'm not sure I can do that again. So we'll see. So this one was special, and I experienced the pool party. I'm about to go to a nightclub on tonight, basically. And sort of do a ramp off. And, like I said, thankful for a lot of advice I got, and all the friends who chipped in to help make this a really memorable and unforgettable first EDC. So again, I appreciate everybody who did that. Yeah, more, like I said, more on this later, but I did want to recap and sort of do an immediate recap as soon as I got back, because some of the stuff I just can't remember, and the energy's not the same. I literally just got out of a sunrise set from Armin after a weekend that started with the World Party Parade, so it was magical. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I did one whole weekend though, because all the pieces made sense, to me at least. So, all right, y'all, appreciate it. This is my recap for EDC 2026. I'm no longer an EDC virgin, and wow, a lot of perspectives changed, for at least for me, and what's even possible, as far as music, culture, things of that nature, which I think is very important. Apparently, Katy Perry was there too at one of the nights. So yeah, it was incredible, magical experience. Thanks again, and take care. All right, y'all.